Hi, welcome back. In this tutorial we're going to go back and create another kick drum. But this time it's going to be much closer to the kick drum you'd find on a Roland TR-909. Now the reason we're going to do this is because when we created our congas in one of the most recent tutorials, we got quite a pure sound. The tiny little loop there that we used of the sample even looks a bit like a sine wave there. It's a quite even waveform. So if we just have a quick listen, you can hear it's quite a pure sound, not entirely unlike a sine wave. And a lot of the drum machines like the 909 and the 808 did start with sine waves, or possibly square waves, or other pure waveforms. So it's a really good starting point to start from when building our drum sounds. So over the next 3 tutorials we're going to go back, we're going to create this kick drum, and we're also going to create a 909 snare drum and an 808 snare drum as well. And we're going to use a lot of the techniques that we've covered over the course of these last few tutorials. And in particular we're going to actually use these congas as a good starting point. So you'll see that really what we're going to do is not that much different to what we did in the first kick drum, but we're starting with a different sound source, so it's a slightly different approach. And we'll be using the techniques we've covered a number of times now throughout the tutorials. So you'll find it's a very quick process when you know what you're doing. So the first thing we're going to do is copy this low conga here to this empty pad here. And you can see we've got 3 pads left that we haven't yet used out of our 16 pads that are the default from our sliced sample. So we're just going to rename this one 909 kick, and we're not going to need to do very much at all to this really. So let's just check our repeating note, and that's already there in the right spot. I must have moved that earlier. So let's just trigger that so that we can start editing. Now the first thing I'm going to do is enable the pitch envelope. We'll leave the filter envelope where it is for the moment, but we might turn the frequency down a bit. So switch on the pitch envelope, and we'll turn the sustain right down and pull the decay back. I'll turn the release all the way up so that we don't get any funny things happening with the pitch. And maybe turn the envelope down a bit and the transpose down a little bit as well. And that's quite a nice deep thud there. Now if we want a slightly sharper attack, we turn the filter envelope up a bit here. And already you can hear that sounding a lot more like a 909 kick. So we can alter our decay settings to give it a much longer decay, boomier sound. Also maybe the release. Might turn the volume down a little bit actually. And so I mean you can see already really that's pretty much a 909 kick. Maybe give it a bit of compression. You can hear that brings the attack out a bit more. Makes it a bit punchier. Maybe the saturator as well. Not too much, that's kind of going to ruin it a bit. So that's sounding pretty good. So let's try it in one of the clips here. Let's just try changing the kick. Just select the note and then press the up arrow on the keyboard. And there we go. That's probably a bit more familiar sounding as far as a club kick drum goes. This one again, up arrow, and there we go. That's it really. You can see with all the techniques we've learned over the last few tutorials, once you start with a good waveform to begin with, as we've found in our congas, then it's actually very easy once you know how to do it. Okay, thanks for watching. See you next time.